Hi there. So today I think I'm going to make a video about the government shutdown in Minnesota, the state that I live in. And in doing some research, I found out some kind of hilarious facts, but we'll get to that. I'm talking about the shutdown. I might as well first talk about why it's really stupid, because essentially it means that the Minnesota government, DFL and GOP, have essentially just become a bunch of crybabies because we can't agree on something. We had months to figure out this budget plan, and if my research is right, we knew that it was going to lead to a shutdown. Everybody was saying it's going to get shut down, shit's going to happen, and in this time, our government didn't come up with any sort of plan as to how, in the government's absence during the shutdown, they're going to take care of all of our citizens that need the government in order to function. Like my friend Lisa, for example, who has a mental disorder and can't function comfortably or normally without the aid of the government through medication. Like, tell me how that's right. Tell me how that's okay that the government's just kind of like, oh, we can't decide on something, so we're going to shut down everything all the way across the board and thus end up killing people. And it's funny too, because people point to both ends here, saying, well, it's the Republicans' fault for causing the shutdown, when in fact DFL member Mark Dayton actually pushed for the shutdown in order to pressure Republican legislators. So Mark Dayton did actually push for the shutdown along with his DFL counterparts within the Minnesota state legislation. But that doesn't mean the Republicans don't have any blame, because they absolutely have the blame, if not most of it. I know Mark Dayton pushed for the shutdown, but let me show you what I mean. Mark Dayton's proposed budget plan was to increase taxes in order to get rid of the Minnesota deficit. And a lot of people have problems with that because the economy's so shit right now. Middle-class Americans, middle-class Minnesotans specifically, and in this context, can't necessarily afford higher taxes. And that's, I mean, taxes there for a reason. We still need taxes, but if we're going to be on the argument that the middle class can't handle taxes, we'll go in this context. His plan, the 95% of Minnesotans would absolutely not be affected by his tax hike. It would affect the 5% wealthiest of Minnesotans, those who make over $500,000 a year, I think it was. Let me check. I've still got all my tabs up here from all my research. Let's see. Once it's temporary income tax surtax for 3% of all filers over $500,000 and a statewide property tax on home values of over $1 million. Tell me how that would affect middle-class America. Tell me how that is middle-class America that he's affecting right there, because it's definitely not. Because I don't know if you haven't noticed, but middle class isn't $1 million housing and $500,000 income brackets. Just saying. I'm pretty sure my middle class family does not make six figures. So, GOP, I call your bluff on that one. Second of all, I did a little bit of digging, and I found that the vast majority of all the GOP in Minnesota, well, nationwide, but as far as Minnesota goes, all of their funding comes from the 5% wealthiest in Minnesota. So I'm thinking that they're forsaking the lives and well-being of everyone in America so they can get funding and votes next year. Fantastic. Absolutely, absolutely fantastic. It's funny because, the GOP opposes the tax hike and then won't admit that it's because, you know, they've got friends in high places that will get affected by the tax hike. They won't actually admit that. And I actually did some other digging. You know, I consider myself, you know, kind of fair when it comes to my research. I looked up what the MN GOP budget proposal does, and it does exactly what they say that Dayton's budget proposal is doing. It's squeezing the middle class. The GOP wants to kill the middle class. I mean, look at this. K through 12 education cuts $21 million statewide. Cuts integration aid for funding for Minneapolis, St. Paul, and Duluth schools. Caps funding for special education with no mandate relief. Property taxes. Cuts local government aid to cities and counties. Elimination of the market value homestead credit. Raises $1.3 billion property tax increase over the next 4 years. Renters lose refund eligibility. Tell me how that doesn't affect middle class and lower class Minnesotans. Tell me that your plan is better than Mark Dayton's as far as helping the middle class. Jobs and economic development. Cuts spending by 58% over current levels. Cuts training resources to laid off workers, capital and consulting for business looking to expand, incentives for companies looking to start up in Minnesota. This GOP, who talks about entrepreneurialism and the free market system, wants to destroy the free market system in Minnesota. Like, that baffles me. That is absolutely hilarious to me. I find that really, really funny, and it's like who the hell are you trying to fool? But then I realize that most people who support the GOP have no idea what they're talking about, because they don't look at their budget proposals for Minnesota. Like, that doesn't... I wonder if that was memory on my camera. Well, anyway. Fucking bananas. This is really all I have to say about the government shutdown in Minnesota. It is fucking bananas.